Newsfeed Late Night continues now on Newsroom Africa Channel 405. Thanks for staying on. As we continue talking about the impact of COVID-19 and lockdown measures, we're joined now by Eastern Cape Sports, Arts and Culture MEC, Fezeka Nkomonye, with us. And she is, of course, talking to us about the plight of the sports, arts and culture sector, particularly in the Eastern Cape due to COVID-19. It's one of those provinces that will be, of course, hardest hit because of various issues that have got to do with the development of that part of the world, but also because it has been one of the epicenters and one of the hotspots, particularly with the second wave of COVID-19. What are the measures in place, MEC? Good evening, by the way, and thank you very much for joining us.
Good evening, Tavo, and good evening to your viewers at home. It's a reality that we've been hardest hit in the sector, particularly the arts and culture sector. As viewers would have listened to the president of the South African music industry, it's hardest hit in that for the longest time, I think it's been more than 6 months, artists have not had an income. And even now, during level 3 of the amended level 3 of the lockdown, artists are still not allowed to have gatherings and make income. So we've sought, as the province of the Eastern Cape, to make alternative ways to assist the artists and athletes in the province so that they can be able to make an income. One of the ways is that we were forced to move all our service points to a digital platform. If you would have a celebration of institutionalized days, now we are forced to move such to a digital platform. You've made mention of the fact that as the province, we are in some levels underdeveloped. One of the challenges is that we do not have a broadband role of network and internet connectivity. So that's one of the challenges we are grappling with, but we are, however, assisting artists.
But let me see, for someone who is tasked with the function of strategically thinking around this particular sector in your department and come up with policies that support government policies, that support government interventions, what have you thought about, particularly around your sector? What are you calling for? What are you pushing for? Even at a national level, to say, here's what I want to do for this sector?
One of the things that we've been engaging the artists with, particularly those that are organized under umbrellas like yourself, is that we need artists to have a platform and have one voice. A majority of the people don't understand artists. It's difficult to understand them if you are not one. So we need them to get together and present to us as government that this is what we want. And I think as a province, one of the things that we have done, like I have indicated, we have moved our platforms, our service points to a digital platform. And what we do is that if there's going to be an event like your Women's Day, we pre-record the artists, provide them with internet connectivity so that they can showcase their work in the digital platforms. The advantage of that, Tabo, is that if you were to, as an artist, if you were to perform in an event where there's a lot of people, you perform once, and your music is not then consumed afterwards. But with the move to the digital platform, you can then introduce your music to platforms like I don't know whether I should mention platforms where you can be able to purchase that kind of music. So we are introducing them to e-commerce now.
I understand what you're saying. You're introducing them to e-commerce as a way of moving them from what they know is the traditional way of doing things. But you and I know that e-commerce is not affordable to everyone. For example, just practicality of what you're talking about, right? You would need to have the infrastructure, the lighting, to be able to produce content of a quality that when it does sit on a public platform, it doesn't damage the value of your brand, right? So you've got artists who are at home in Mdantsane who might not have that kind of infrastructure. What are you doing for them?
That's correct. That's why I said we go beforehand to them and pre-record them. One of the things that as the Eastern Cape we have done in the past year is that we have introduced a studio that is in East London. It has got 5G connectivity of internet. It's a production hub where you are able to record, do post-production in that kind of a setup. So that is one way of trying to expose our artists into the modern technology so that they can be, as I'm saying, they can be able to produce a product that is able to be sold in the international platforms in the economy.
But that still does not answer the question of employment. You understand that if you are limiting the options for the artists to be able to work, and this is the issue that Mr. Mteto was raising, that artists rely on a call, right? If a corporate is not going to make a call and say, I need the services of this band, that artist has got no way of earning, right? But if you have closed off events for the whole nation, so even corporates can't make that call to the artist to say, come and work. And then you are saying, well, I've created a platform for you to come and record digitally. It doesn't answer my question.
Certainly, Thabo, it doesn't help. The challenge we are faced with as we are dealing with COVID-19 is that we must be concerned about lives, saving lives, but also at the same time be concerned about providing livelihood and securing livelihood. Now, if all the gatherings are banned, as it were currently, what we are doing as government is that we would normally have events, and government has events on a monthly basis. And one of the ways we are exposing our artists into getting some form of income is allowing them to perform in those kinds of events in digital platforms. But one of the ways that we have done as the province of the Eastern Cape is to ensure that we provide social relief fund to provide assistance. And I'm saying assistance because it was not enough, we agree, it was not enough, it was limited resources, but through the social relief fund, we were able to touch a lot of artists and assist them in providing a sustenance whilst we are in the period of COVID-19.
Right, we're talking a lot about the cultural arts. Maybe one would feel like we're ignoring the sports industry because it's one of the areas that you're looking at in your portfolio. When you talk about that, I mean, that particular field has also been locked in with no spectators having to come to matches and so on and so forth. But not only that, there have been difficult issues of transformation in that particular sector. What are you doing?
We are known as the province of the Eastern Cape as having been a province that is championing transformation. Whether you look at rugby, cricket, netball, majority of black players, if I may put it that way, are from the province of the Eastern Cape. And we want to continue to do that. One of the things that we are doing, people would know that Makhaya Ntini broke out last year and spoke about racism in cricket. And we partnered with him to ensure that in terms of continuing transforming cricket, we need to resuscitate his idea of having an academy. I am from a meeting right now about 2 hours ago, from a meeting from a potential investor who is interested in assisting us. As government, we cannot alone build these kinds of and sustain these kinds of academies. So we need private investors to assist us. So we are continuing with that legacy and that vision of continuing to transform and provide not only black players, but excellent black players that would be filtered on the basis of their capability.
MEC, we appreciate your time and thank you very much for joining us today.
Thank you so much for having me.
On the news feed like that. Well, we